You are listening to the Pursuit of Manliness podcast, where we are vigorously equipping men to pursue biblical manliness. For more information about the pursuit of manliness or find out about the herd, make sure you visit thepursuitofmanliness.com. God, thanks for today. Thank you for Matt, the ability to connect and for us to utilize technology. And as we're going to talk about here in a minute, you redeem all these things for good, and you can and you do. And certainly with what Matt does, there is a way that people can have coaching, they can have accountability, they can have community that they may not get otherwise. We have a lot of men who work a lot of strange hours, and they're traveling and they're doing a lot of stuff that they just can't get to the same place every single day at the same time. And certainly you have shown us that through the communities of the herd and tribe and all that. But God, I pray as this conversation unfolds, you get the glory, but also that there would be understanding in this for these guys who need to hear this, that we would honor you with our body. We would honor you with our time and our efforts and things. And thank you for Matt. Thank you for his willingness to do this. And I just pray that you bless him and bless the things that he's doing. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, man. This time I want to welcome Matt Reynolds to the Pursuit of Manliness podcast. Matt, thanks for taking time, brother, being on today's show.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for having me. I'm I'm super excited to do it.
Well, I know a little bit about you. I've explored your site and stuff. Would you just take a second, introduce who you are, Barbell Logic, and just whet our appetite for what you're about?
Sure. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Barbell Logic. We're an online coaching company, online strength coaching company, private sector, deal with a lot of middle-aged guys. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons I think I'm on this podcast because we have very similar demographic guys who are middle-aged men looking to improve their quality of life, husbands, fathers, lots of military. We train a lot of U.S. military guys, Canadian, English military guys, actually looking to I think we're about to potentially win our first Air Force contract as well. And so we provide professional online strength coaching to people who don't have access to really good coaches. We'll probably dive into this some. The personal training world is broken. It's a mess. I don't want some 18-year-old kid putting me on a purple treadmill. He's got a polo that says trainer on it and doesn't know what he's doing. So many years ago, 2016, I started the online coaching business. I started a gym, a pretty hardcore black iron strength-based gym that grew to be the largest strength gym in the country. I started it in 2008, sold it in 15. Before that, I was a professional strongman, like on the World's Strongest Man tour and all that stuff. Now I'm old, 43, still love to train. But so started in that competitive atmosphere world, transitioned to the gym ownership world. And then I just saw a need to connect people to good coaches. Personal training is really expensive. First off, personal training, if you haven't explored, we're talking about, it starts at $300-400 a month, and that's cheap. And it tends to go up to $600-700-800 a month in the big cities. It's going to be $1,000 a month. And I saw, man, we could do online coaching where we actually coach our clients for a quarter of the price of what they're paying for in-person coaching. And the coach can make about 4 or 5x dollars per hour more than what they would make in person. So that idea of like the commute, the connecting with the schedule, the high cost, all that, we can remove all that, and you can receive coaching online through our software, through our app. You actually video yourself training, upload your videos, and your coach breaks that down within 24 hours, which is pretty cool. So that's what we do. That's the elevator pitch of what we do. Ultimately, I think I told you this when we first emailed. I'm not coming to sell anything. For me, it's really important to talk about these ideas of voluntary hardship and being harder to kill, and how you can do this well. Like you said, when it's hard to get to the same gym at the same time 3 or 4 days a week, can we train at home? Can we have an online coach? Do we understand the value of these things beyond? Certainly for us, we don't want to take pictures of our abs and post them on Instagram. That's not the ultimate goal. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look better, but we're trying to improve quality of life and be better husbands and fathers and men. And that's, I think, what we're doing.
Well, let's start with the foundation then. So someone's going to get healthy. They feel like, either I was and now I'm not, or I never have been and I want to. I'm 47. You go, hey, I got more years behind me than I have ahead of me. Like,
sure.
Okay, so how does getting healthy in general, it's state the obvious, improve your quality of life?
Yeah, well, so first off, I mean, we are called to be good stewards of our bodies. We are called as men to protect, provide. What we know about strength training alone reduces all-cause mortality by about 3x. That's tremendous. And when coupled with high intensity interval type conditioning, that will also reduce your all cause mortality by 5x, somewhere in that ballpark. So we potentially can get like an 8x all cause reduction in mortality. And the question is this: how can I serve my family, my wife, my church if I'm dead? So that number one is there. So if you want to foundational. Two, how can I serve them well if I am unhealthy, if I have high blood pressure, if I have type 2 diabetes, if I have metabolic syndrome, like all of these things. If I am addicted to food, addicted to alcohol, addicted to, like, listen, having a good drink every once in a while, no problem. Smoking a pipe, great. But like, there are things we know that will reduce our increase the potential of death. And we can cut those things out, and then we can replace those things with training. And I think we can do that well.
So you got a person that says, hey, I travel, my work schedule is crazy. We got a college basketball coach. We have a semi-truck driver, pilot. They just cannot get to the same place every week, every day. And so then we create a guilt complex. I missed a few days. What's the point? How does this online world then move the needle on their physical health?
Yeah, that's a really good question. By the way, I'm sweating because I just got done training. I keep doing this. I do these morning podcasts, and I train with my wife, and we busted it this morning. I was like, I got an early one this morning, so we got to bust it. So now here I am sweating to death. No, man, I think one of the big things for a beginner when they first start, I would love to actually walk through some of the strength training, like why we do strength and how we focus on strength. But even before that, the thing that makes the biggest difference is consistency. That's number one. And number two is good technical form on the big compound movements. And so what we have found, what we know is that of all of the 82% of people who have a gym membership use it less than one time per month. 82%. And you contrast that with, we keep incredible, we're kind of data snobs. We want great data. And it's not that we're keeping personalized data on people. It's that conglomerate sort of data. But our clients have an 87% compliance rate. And that's not 87% of the workouts they complete. They complete 87% of all of the exercises in all of the workouts. And so, if I program for you, let's say I program an overhead press and a bench press, and then chins, dips, and curls, 5 exercises. Well, if you only do 4 of those, and you're like, hey, I didn't have time to do the curls at the end or whatever, that's only 80% compliance. And so for our clients, 1,300 clients, by the way, like not a small pool of clients, and doing this now for 7 years, 87% compliance rating. So the very first thing you get is this thing. It's not about guilt tripping somebody into it. It's about raising the accountability stakes. And so when you have to turn that, you pull out your phone and you turn the camera on and you record that set, and you're going to upload it to your coach. One, you got to step up the standard. And then two, if you don't record it at all because you missed the workout, you're going to hear from your coach. Now, our coaches aren't, it's not about lambasting their clients. It's not about verbally chastising them. It's like, what can we do to get you back on the wagon? And so sometimes that is also, we get a lot of executives that work that are clients of ours, and they're in a hotel gym, and a hotel gym doesn't have barbells, and it usually, and it doesn't have, although it's more and more, we're seeing that some more and more, but they don't have that. But we can get a good workout in with dumbbells and body weight. And while it may not be training to improve your squat and deadlift on those days, it continues to complete the consistency piece. And so for most men, I've seen this with your work, is that a lot of guys like to talk about the thing. And I think where we're at right now is there's a lot of guys out there that believe this is true at the 30,000 foot view, but they're not men of action to do the thing. And so the thing that I hope that your listeners come away with from this podcast is not to sign up with Barbell Logic. That's not my goal at all. I mean, listen, if they want to, great, we'll take them, but that's not the goal. The goal is to do something today. Like today, you're listening to it right now on your way to work. Today, you need to do something. And that may be as small as walking around the neighborhood with your wife. It may be going and doing a body weight workout for, a hard body weight workout for 10 minutes. And it may be, and I think it would be better, put a barbell on your back and squat and deadlift. And so that's the key. We've got to be men of action. And we're really good in today's world of talking about the whys and understanding, like, yeah, and we're rah, but like the actually getting in the trenches and getting dirty and rolling up our sleeves is the reality is nobody's going to make you squat, man. Nobody's going to make you squat. And squats are hard. They're hard and they suck, and nobody likes them because they're hard, but they also give us the best return on investment. That's why we do those things.
Yeah, I said it recently. There's a lot of guys going, "Hey, next Monday or next month, or
That's
I'm
right.
going to start this or launch this," and you be on the lookout. Instead of being your own hype guy, build credibility. Like
Yeah, that's
start
right.
doing something
Do
right
the thing.
now.
Yep.
Instead, you wonder why your wife doesn't believe in you because you keep saying you're going to do something and you never actually do
That's
it.
right.
And so she says, "No, that's not going to happen." Your kids look at you, go, and we've heard this story 12 times over. So you have to start one day at a time. You get a client, you get someone that signs up and says, "All right, I need some help, man."
Yep.
And how do you assess how you help them the best?
Yeah, for sure. First off, when you sign up, or even before you sign up, we've tried to remove all the friction here. So you take a quiz first off, and you answer some questions about goals, and we connect you with what we think is the best coach for you. You actually have an opportunity to do that as well. You can go to the Barbell Logic website. You can fill out a basic questionnaire. It'll give you your top 8 coach matches. And then you can be like, oh, I think I want to work. You can read their bios and stuff. And we got about 60 coaches that work for us. So we have a coach that's perfect for you. It starts there. I want to connect you with a coach that you want to go have a coffee with or a beer with, or what, like you would be friends with this coach even if they weren't your coach. So that's number one. Once you get connected with the coach does an intro Zoom call with you, and then we start with a basic test workout. And if I can even back up a second, we want to get our clients the best bang for their buck for the least. I mean, it's minimum effective dose type training, right? That doesn't mean it's easy. It's hard. It's simple, hard, and effective. That's what it is. And so we go in and we teach our clients how to do the 4 basic lifts. That's the squat, the deadlift, the bench press, and the overhead press, what we just call the press. Some people call it the military press. And they go into the gym on that very first day and they do a test workout. They do those 4 exercises. They work up to just a moderately heavy set of 5. So they're going to just start with the empty bar. They're going to squat the empty bar. They're going to put a little weight on, 95 pounds or maybe 135, and do another set of 5. They're going to put another, 25 pounds on the 185. Maybe 135 is too heavy. And by the way, we couldn't care less where they start. We have lots of clients that start we have women that start with empty bar, guys that start at 65 pounds. It does not matter to us where you start. We just are looking for a starting point. And we say, look, do it for a set of 5, but you could have done it for a set of 8 or 9. And that's a great place to start. And then that sets the starting numbers. And from then, our clients train 3 times a week in the beginning, full body days. They do squats for 3 sets of 5 across, right? Starting at the weight that they left off at with the test workout, or going up 5 pounds. They do press or bench press for 3 sets of 5. They do deadlift for one set of 5. And then sometimes after a couple of weeks, we'll usually add chin-ups or pull-ups. And those 4 main barbell exercises plus chin-ups literally will train every muscle in your body. It should be 90% of what you do your entire life in the gym. And as a novice, as a beginner, it should be 100% of what you do. Like, that's it. That's all you need. And people are like, it can't be that simple. Yes, it is. Because then here's what you do. You go in 2 days later and you add 5 pounds to the bar. And then you go in 2 days later and you add 5 pounds to the bar. And you do that for about 4 months. And so it doesn't matter if you started at 65 pounds, you're going to gain 60 pounds on your squat per month, every month for several months. Now, that won't work forever, but after 3 or 4 months, you've added between 180 and 240 pounds to your squat. Like, we're not talking about small. That's why we start conservative and add a little each time. And then we have to start changing the programming a little bit, but it's still very simple, minimum effective dose changes.
So this individual is working out. They got the set plan for them. You've agreed upon, this is what we're going to do for this period of time.
Yep.
They're going to upload a video. The coach is obviously going to watch their form, going to watch, all the things that go into that. We do online communities as well. And I think it's a way that you can cast a really wide net and get a lot of people who are of the same mindset and approach, which is very helpful for people who are lonely, people who go, I can't find the people. I can't find. How do you keep spurring them on from a distance? That reach sometimes in online worlds is very limited because they can just disappear. As a coach, you feel this like, I want to help. So how do you guys do that?
That's a great question. Well, first off, it starts with the relationship between the coach and the client. So we have touch points with our clients virtually every day, and certainly 4 days a week. That when I say we break down client videos, it's not typed. They're hearing our voice. It's video screen recording. I'm talking to my clients as hey, Brett, this is Art of Manliness. Brett McKay from Art of Manliness is one of my clients. So I literally am breaking. Brett, squat's looking great. Oh, look, that one was a 1/2 inch high, or you're forward on your toes. And I'm talking it's like I'm having a phone conversation with him. It's just that he's not on the other end of the line. And then I upload that video to him. And so number one, we have an excellent relationship with our clients. We also don't just keep it to training. Like I'm friends with my clients at this point. I know what they do for living. I know what their kids' names are. I know what their wife does. I know where they live. I know what they love to do for hobbies. And so we talk about those things even in that day-to-day interaction as well with our clients. And then number two, we spend a lot of time trying to build that community. So, we've got a Discord channel for our clients. We have a Slack channel for our staff. We consider the executives on the team, consider our staff like clients. I mean, it's our job to keep them happy. We don't want turnover. And so we spend a lot of time doing that. We've got the hashtags, the same kind of stuff you're doing. People are sharing this stuff on Instagram and social media. And then we have a leaderboard at Barbell Logic that you can see how you line up against everybody else. We just want good, healthy competition. We do a lot of online meets. I'm actually getting ready to go to the big in-person meet in St. Louis this coming weekend for the United States Strength Lifting Federation. And so there's a powerlifting, strength lifting federation that puts on online meets all the time, and anybody can do them. You don't just have to be Barbell Logic clients. You can just Google United States Strength Lifting. I think it's usstrengthlifting.com. And you can sign up, and it's like $40, and you video yourself hitting PRs, you turn it in, a judge tells you how you do, give out great awards, and that competition piece takes it up to the next level. When you pay for that registration and you decide, I'm not just training for myself, or I'm not just training with my bros, but I'm actually going to post this into the ether and let another judge tell me if I like it, it legitimizes it, and it takes the training up a notch. And so all of those things are things we're doing to try to create that. And then and the other thing is we're really intentional about the culture of what we do at Barbell Logic. The culture matters. It's not, our core values are not things that we post and hang on the wall for a poster and never talk about them again. And we're constantly talking about these things that we do to improve quality of life, to always choose rightly, to take, initiative and ambition. Like, these things are things that permeate what we do in a culture. And I never really thought, I don't know that I considered it when I first built the business. I thought that it would clearly permeate. I hope that it would permeate the staff. But it's interesting how those core values in the company have permeated through the clients. So now you've got 1,300 clients and nearly 100 staff. You got almost 1,500 people that really understand the culture of what we're trying to do and how it's different. And again, because I don't think there are a lot of businesses out there, especially online coaching businesses, that are targeting middle-aged general population people, right? And when I say Gen Pop, I don't mean like the fat executive dad. I mean, I'm talking about police, fire, military, those guys, like these, but these middle-aged guys, they just don't target them very much. And we're about 30% women as well. And we've got a bunch of female coaches that work for us, and we tend to try to set up female clients with female coaches. And so we do that, and then doing it for that reason of that quality of life improvement, being harder to kill, voluntary hardship, as opposed to, hey, let's just look great on the beach. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. I actually want to be careful there, because if we're really honest, like, who doesn't want to look a little better, right? That's fine. But if that's the be all end all goal, what you end up doing is you end up taking performance enhancing drugs, eating diuretics, putting on a pink thong bikini, and having a beauty pageant with other dudes on stage. That's bodybuilding. That's not what we do. And so I think that resonates, because other people are like, I don't want to put on a pink thong bikini and have a beauty pageant with other dudes. I just want to be a better husband, better father, harder to kill.
Yeah, fool me once. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, right.
No, right. I'm not doing that. But you're right. You do want to look better. You don't want to be,
sure,
whatever. So I think I love all that, because even in my world, there's my perspective, such a negative connotation towards life coaches and all these people who, make Instagram reels all day and do all this whatever. And you're like, man, it's almost ad nauseum to a degree. This is different. You're creating a culture, you're creating community, and you're creating credibility, which I think goes a long way. And if your people are buying into your mission, vision, values, you don't have to hang posters on the wall. They are your poster. They're walking posters. You could say all that all day long, and you can create a great website, and you can have videos of before and after, then and now, whatever. There's still this 3-pound thing in our skull that we just can't get by. There's the mental aspect for some guys, the vulnerable aspect, whatever. Talk to that guy, man. He knows, he's been there. He just mentally, he can't get over that hurdle to do anything different.
Well, so there's two parts to this. One is, I hear a lot of conversation. You've probably had conversation like this on your podcast about discipline versus motivation, or discipline and motivation. Like, what is the thing, right? And you hear Jocko saying stuff like, discipline equals freedom, discipline over motivation, those sort of things. I think that's true, but I think that discipline alone, white knuckle discipline, is not sustainable. It's just not. And so we often have to start a thing to change momentum. So we have momentum, let's say, moving in a way of that's unhealthy, or a pendulum swings that's unhealthy, and that pendulum's got momentum. The best way to start that or to stop that momentum and go back the other way is with discipline. You just have to decide, I'm going to do this thing. And often it does take an emotional thing to occur. So you have the health scare, your dad dies, you know, God forbid, your wife divorces you, a kid gets sick, whatever the thing is that makes you go like, okay, I gotta turn this around. But you don't have to have that. So if you're listening today, you can just decide, I'm just going to be disciplined and do the thing. And this is what I tell people with what we're doing with strength training and fitness. If you'll just be disciplined for 2 weeks, motivation will come. Motivation will come. It almost always does. If you do this right and you're actually consistent, what you'll find is that as you start to change your diet and you start to train, in 2 weeks, you will not feel like the same person. Now, here's the deal. In 2 weeks, you will look like the same person because your body can't change very much in 2 weeks, almost none. Although you'll be surprised. Yeah, you'll lose some bloat if you're eating a lot of sugar and processed foods. You can cut that stuff out. You'll definitely look a little better, but mostly you'll feel like a different person 2 weeks later. And then you don't want to, like, you want to continue this thing. You don't want to go back to the unhealthy lifestyle. So that's number one. Number two is this. I give you a real quick story about a client of mine. So I have a lady that I coach. She's 87 years old. She's my only in-person client left. I don't really do in-person coaching anymore, but I can't tell her no because she's 87. What are you going to do? So I haven't charged her in like 6 years. And so her name is Miss Sybil. When she came to me, she was 79. She had a double hip replacement, a knee replacement. Her whole back was fused together. She had like an inch cut off her Achilles tendon. She was a walking disaster. And her kids all lived. She was a widow. Husband at that time had passed for 6 or 7 years. And her kids are mostly in the Pacific Northwest. And so she's just like this. She's played the organ in the big pipe organ in her church for like 39 years, you know, just she's grandma. She's like a sweet old grandma. And she was struggling to get off the toilet. And she was struggling to get in and out of her car. And she was mentally very sharp, but physically the next stop was the nursing home. And I had coached her son a few times. He would come in for Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff. And he was like 60 years old and like in incredible shape. I would coach him and be like, boy, I sure wish I could get you to coach my mom. I'll coach her mom. You know, he's like, man, she's never been in a gym. I don't know, you know. And this happened for a couple of years. And then one day he talked to her into seeing me. I said, you know what? She doesn't have to come to the gym. It's back when I was in the gym. I'll go to her house if you want, and just to meet her. And so I went to her house and she made me biscotti and we dipped it in coffee. And I taught her how to stand up out of her dining room chair that day. I taught her how to squat. That's a squat when you're 79 years old. I taught her how to sit in her chair and stand up out of her chair correctly. And I taught her how to do push-ups against the wall, not down on the floor. She can't get down on the floor yet. And she started training. I would go to her house 3 days a week, and I did that for about 2 weeks. And then she said, you know, I think I'm ready to come see the gym. Okay. So she came to the gym. And then later I sold the gym, and she continued to train. She comes to my house and train. I've got a real nice home gym. And she now deadlifts 155 pounds for a set of 5, and she's 87 years old. So, dude, you're listening, you know, mid-level manager out there, like, you know, guy that played football and was active when you were 20 years old, and now you're 44, and you're like, I'm letting myself go. Sybil's doing this, and she's 87. Like, you can do this.
You can't get passed by Sybil. That's unacceptable.
That's right. Yeah,
right,
if you can't deadlift 155 for 5, you got 87-year-old lady that can do this, who all of her joints are fake. I mean, it's like, come on, you can do it. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Anybody can do this. I would say I think a lot of people think they have to be gung-ho and go all in. You don't. Change a thing. Like like it literally might be walking around the neighborhood. I would love for you to squat and deadlift. Maybe a squat and deadlift. And add a thing as you go. Start incredibly conservative. Guys this thing happens. They go to the gym and they go berserk on the first workout and they can't walk for 3 days. Like, don't do that. Go in and work up to a decent set of 5 and get out of the gym. Walk out. Like, your first session in the gym should be like 20 minutes. Get out. Otherwise, you're not ready, and you're going to, you want to go back in 2 more days. That's the key.
Well, and here's to me, one of the greatest selling points, because this is what I talk about with Tribe and all the things we do, is your flexibility. Every guy's the busiest guy, you know, and I had a guy recently do that in a group of men. He was busy. I said, don't busy these guys. They all got busy. So with busyness and family and all these other components, we'll begin to land the conversation with this. You offer a great flexible plan for these men. How does that work for them?
Yeah. Again, thank you for letting me offer that. This is not the goal of the podcast, but one of the things we've done is is your first month is always 100% free, and there's no contracts. I'm like, what's the catch? No catch. So you come on your first month of online coaching, you sign up at barbelllogic.com. You get to get paired with a coach, or you can take the quiz to get matched with a coach, and you can pick your coach that you want. And then you can start and you can try it for a full month. And you don't put there's no charge. There's nothing. You don't get charged until the first day of the second month. And so you can cancel right up until that last day. And so we did that because I would rather spend that money on customer acquisition, and I still pay your coach fully. Like your coach is going to get paid. And so I'd rather spend that customer acquisition cost on you guys than giving it to Mr. Zuckerberg, right? Like that's not where I want to spend the money, is on Facebook ads. And so we've tried to do that to remove friction for people. That's number one. Number two, the nice thing about that flexibility is you're exactly right. We talk to you, figure out your schedule. And, you know, we've got, I have she's actually a fire chief female, one of the females that I coach. And we have a lot of police, fire, nurses, doctors who work really weird schedules. And they're like, well, I'm working, you know, two days on, 4 days off. And we can work around that. So we set up your schedule. So we work around it. You know, if I have a client who's supposed to train on Wednesday, he misses workout on Wednesday, I just push it to Thursday. Like, no big deal, right? The goal is to get your 3 or 4 workouts in a week. And then you get to train anywhere you want, anytime you want with the equipment you have. That's the best part. So it means if you have access to a good gym, you get to train with the gym. We have programs that we can do. And by the way, nothing is a template cookie cutter program. We just have, it's more the theory behind how we set this stuff up. We had to do this a ton during COVID. People had to train at their house, 50-pound dog food bags, whatever they could procure, go get sandbags or concrete bags from Lowe's or Home Depot and put it. Like, we can do that stuff too. Certainly it's easier to titrate up barbells, and we want to get you there eventually, but it really doesn't matter what you have. Likewise, if you travel and you're in a gym, you're like, I'm at home. A lot of times I can train at home, or I can train in my gym, but sometimes I'm going to be at a hotel, or I'm going to be somewhere where I don't have access to any of that stuff. Can I do body weight stuff? Yep, we can do all that. So you have the flexibility to really train when you want, where you want, anytime you want. If you have cell phone service, you can do this. And then again, the advantage to my coaches are they can coach anywhere they want, anytime they want, right? So we give feedback within 24 hours. I mean, I have coaches in Singapore and South Korea and Mexico City, and most of them are in the US. Almost everybody's in the US, but I also have clients in all those places. We have American military guys stationed in Tunisia, you know, stationed in sub-Saharan Africa, and they upload their stuff, and then we break it down within 24 hours, even though we're 11 hours time zone difference. It works. So it's pretty sweet gig. And then again, the cost is like a quarter of what it's going to cost. And remember, you're going to get, I mean, listen, it's in $50 a month. It's going to be about $225 a month is about where it starts. So I want to be clear, but you're also getting one of the best coaches, strength coaches in the world. And you've got that opportunity. You know, if I had that opportunity in other industries, I would take it. So you can either spend $400, $500, $600 a month with the 18-year-old kid at Planet Fitness, or you can hire one of the best coaches in the world. Many of my coaches have PhDs. I mean, they're doctors, they're PTs, they're big time professionals, and they're doing this. And you're paying them cheap. You're paying them $10, $12 a workout to help coach you, which is a pretty sweet gig.
So Matt, how do we get connected to Barbell Logic? We're going to put the links in the show notes, obviously, but you let them know where do we go? Yeah,
it's just barbelllogic.com or barbell-logic.com, both the same. Barbelllogic.com, and you can find everything you need there. And the other thing I didn't touch on really quick is we put out a ton of high quality content. So we have one of the most popular podcasts in all of fitness. We have a very highly produced YouTube channel with all the how-to videos you'd ever want, tons of written articles and ebooks that are all free. Because we're a service company, all of our content is always free. So I often tell people, like, hey, you're not ready to sign up yet or spend that money or want to learn a little bit more about us, dive into the YouTube channel, the Barbell Logic YouTube channel, or our Barbell Logic podcast, or read our articles or download our ebooks. That stuff is free, because what it does is we want to try to educate people as best we can. And then we know a small percentage of those people will eventually become paying clients. Mm-hmm. And I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the ones that don't. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they still get to find value from us for free out of our content. That's the goal.
Amen. Matt, thank you for taking time to be on the show. We're going to put the link below. You guys get connected to him, and we're thankful for that. Forgive me, you guys that are in the herd, we're going to continue the conversation over there. Thank you, men, for listening to or watching the Pursuit of Manliness podcast. If you're looking for any of the links mentioned in today's podcast episode, make sure you check out the show notes. You will find them there. If you will, leave a 5-star review on iTunes. That just continues to help get the word out about the Pursuit of Manliness podcast. Men, if you are in the herd, we are going to continue our conversation over there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Let's keep pursuing biblical manliness.